HOA officers chased me around my own yard. They picked the wrong guy and regretted it fast. How would you react if armed security, acting on behalf of a homeowners association you don't belong to, started chasing you around your own backyard? The early morning mist still clung to the ancient oak trees that dotted my expansive property, the Haven. It was a place I'd meticulously cultivated over 2 decades, a sprawling organic farm, complete with heritage chickens, a vibrant vegetable garden, and a small orchard. After a career as a wildlife biologist, I, Dr. Alastair Finch, found immense satisfaction in living off the land, self-sufficient and at peace. My property lines, marked by old stone walls and established fences, were well known in the quiet rural community. My closest neighbors lived miles away, beyond the old county road. Then came Karen. Not a person named Karen, but the spirit of entitlement that swept in with the Luxury Pines development, a gated community that had recently carved out a section of the forest miles to my west. I was tending to my chickens, enjoying the crisp morning air, when the unsettling sight unfolded. A golf cart, emblazoned with Luxury Pines security, sped across my lower pasture. 2 figures, in crisp, overly formal security uniforms, jumped out and started jogging towards me. At the lead, with a walkie-talkie clutched in her hand, was Brenda Sterling, the notoriously overzealous head of Luxury Pines HOA's Community Compliance Committee. She practically vibrated with self-importance. "Dr. Finch," Brenda shrieked, her voice echoing unnaturally across my quiet fields. "We have received, shall we say, numerous complaints regarding your farm. The animal odors are drifting into our pristine community. Your rustic structures are an eyesore to our residents. And your general lifestyle is not in keeping with the elevated standards of Luxury Pines. You are in violation of our covenants regarding nuisance activities and aesthetic depreciation. These officers are here to escort you off the disputed property line and issue a formal cease and desist order for your operations." The main conflict, audacious and utterly baseless, was laid bare. Brenda, armed with absurd, subjective standards and a dangerously inflated sense of authority, was attempting to dictate my farming practices and lifestyle on my private, self-sufficient property, which was completely outside her HOA's jurisdiction. Her demands were not only ludicrous but rooted in a profound disdain for rural life and a pathological need for control, treating my working farm as a personal affront to her concept of luxury. Her attitude was one of blatant contempt, believing her personal preferences granted her the right to intrude and impose rules on sovereign land. I stared at her, then at the 2 bewildered security guards behind her. My decades spent patiently observing wildlife and navigating bureaucratic wilderness had taught me the value of calm precision. "Ms. Sterling," I said, my voice low and steady, "you are trespassing on private property. This is the Haven. We are not, nor have we ever been, part of your HOA. Your jurisdiction ends at the old county road, nearly 3 miles from here. I suggest you and your officers vacate my property immediately." I even offered to show them my survey maps and deeds, which clearly predated their entire development by several decades. Brenda, however, merely sneered, gesturing imperiously at the security guards. "Dr. Finch, your rural charm is causing a significant devaluation of our properties. We have legal authority to ensure the harmonious integration of surrounding landscapes. Your no trespassing signs are, frankly, quite aggressive and uncivilized. You have 1 hour to cease all nuisance activities or face daily fines of $5,000 and formal legal action to force compliance. Now, clear out, or we will remove you." Her tone was chillingly arrogant, her eyes holding a glint of perverse pleasure, as if she enjoyed wielding this illegitimate power. The security guards, clearly emboldened by Brenda's bluster, began to advance. I stood my ground, refusing to move from my own land. Brenda, enraged by my defiance, shrieked, "Escort him off the property." Now, the 2 guards, looking uncomfortable, but following orders, started to close in on me. I calmly backed away, retreating further onto my own land. They followed, now actively chasing me through my own backyard, a bizarre and infuriating spectacle. Then, Brenda's audacity escalated into a direct, dangerous act of destruction. As I continued to retreat, leading them away from my chicken coop, Brenda, frustrated by my evasion, spotted my prize-winning heirloom tomato plants, heavy with ripe fruit. With a venomous look, she deliberately stomped on an entire row of them, crushing the plants and squashing the ripe tomatoes under her expensive loafers. It was a petty, malicious act of vandalism, aimed at destroying the fruits of my labor and sending a clear message: comply or suffer. Right after the wanton destruction of my tomato plants, a crucial twist unfolded from an unexpected source. My distant cousin, Alex, a drone enthusiast and amateur videographer, happened to be flying his drone overhead, capturing some scenic footage of the local wildlife for his YouTube channel. He'd seen the golf cart and the strange chase and zoomed in. He immediately flew his drone over to my position, landing it discreetly near me. "Alistair," he whispered, his face grim as he showed me the live feed. "I've got the whole thing. Her ordering them, her stomping on your plants, everything." His footage, crystal clear, showed Brenda's explicit commands, her triumphant smirk as she crushed my plants, and her furious demands for me to be removed. The larger consequence of Brenda's actions became terrifyingly clear. My heirloom tomatoes weren't just personal produce. They were part of a federally funded agricultural research project with the Department of Agriculture, aimed at preserving rare, climate-resilient varietals crucial for future food security. Her deliberate destruction of those plants wasn't just a petty act of vandalism. It directly jeopardized years of critical scientific research and threatened the potential loss of invaluable genetic material, elevating her personal arrogance to a matter of profound national importance and food safety. And that drone footage? It also captured Brenda's security guards explicitly discussing how they were ordered to plant evidence of unsanitary conditions in my chicken coop if I didn't comply, including bringing bags of rodent droppings, a blatant attempt to frame me for health code violations. Armed with Alex's irrefutable video footage, the furious director of the USDA research program, and my own burning desire for justice, I stopped retreating. I turned to Brenda and her bewildered officers, a calm, chilling smile on my face. "Ms. Sterling," I said, my voice carrying across the field, "I think it's time we had a proper discussion about trespassing, vandalism, and attempted fraud." I then projected Alex's drone footage onto a large, portable screen I'd discreetly set up earlier for outdoor presentations. The raw, unedited video of Brenda's malicious acts and her guards' incriminating conversation played for all to see. Brenda's face went from smug confidence to utter, white-faced terror. "That's manipulated. That man is a lunatic. This is a malicious attack on my character and the HOA's integrity," she shrieked, desperately trying to manipulate the situation, her voice shrill and breaking. She started pointing fingers, trying to blame Alex, me, anyone but herself. Just as her tirade reached its peak, the silence was shattered by the distinct wail of sirens. Not a golf cart siren, but official county sheriff vehicles. A convoy pulled up my driveway, lights flashing. Out of the lead vehicle stepped Sheriff Brody, followed by two stern-faced agents from the FBI's Public Corruption Unit, and, surprisingly, a representative from the State Agricultural Department, looking absolutely furious. The state agricultural representative spoke first, his voice cold and cutting. "Ms. Sterling, your actions have directly jeopardized a federally funded agricultural research program. This is a severe criminal act with potentially catastrophic implications for national food security. The department will be pursuing the maximum charges against you." One of the FBI agents stepped forward. "And Ms. Sterling, we've also been investigating reports of widespread financial irregularities within the Luxury Pines HOA, specifically regarding the unauthorized collection of security fees and the diversion of HOA funds to shell corporations ostensibly for community beautification projects. Your security force, Ms. Sterling, is not licensed, and we have evidence they've been involved in intimidation, extortion, and now, documented attempts to tamper with evidence and frame property owners. Furthermore, we have evidence of significant sums of HOA funds being diverted to offshore accounts linked to your shell corporations." A nervous murmur rippled through the gathered Luxury Pines residents, who had followed the convoy, as one stammered to the FBI agent. She told us the beautification was for our property values. We had no idea the money was going to her brother's construction companies." It was a chilling revelation. Brenda wasn't just a busybody. She was a criminal mastermind, systematically defrauding her own residents, creating a private paramilitary force for intimidation, and attempting to seize valuable resources, with the harassment of my farm merely a diversion for her grand scheme. A past incident, whispered among her former colleagues, revealed that Brenda had been previously disciplined from a corporate real estate job for unethical land acquisition tactics. The consequences for Brenda Sterling were immediate and utterly devastating. She was arrested by Sheriff Brody and the FBI agents on multiple charges, including felony property damage, interference with a federal program, operating a fraudulent security organization, attempted fraud, and later, as the full extent of the fraud was uncovered, for massive embezzlement, wire fraud, and racketeering. The Luxury Pines HOA was placed under immediate state and federal oversight, its assets frozen, and a full forensic audit exposed tens of millions in stolen funds, a systematic scheme orchestrated by Brenda and her network. Her carefully cultivated image as the benevolent community leader shattered into irreparable pieces. The residents she had once intimidated and defrauded now turned on her, furious at being manipulated and exploited, their HOA funds stolen. Her social circles, built on an illusion of wealth and influence, abandoned her completely, unwilling to be associated with such public disgrace. Her vast real estate holdings, her fortune, her status, her perceived power all confiscated as part of the ongoing investigation and subsequent lawsuits. She lost everything, her freedom, her fortune, and her reputation. The ultimate irony was that her audacious attempt to harass me on my farm led to the complete unraveling of her vast, illegal enterprise. As for the haven, it remained my sanctuary. My tomatoes, though damaged, were quickly documented for the USDA, and the project continued. The Luxury Pines security vehicles were impounded, their uniforms shredded, their fake authority gone. The satisfaction was immense, watching her literal and figurative empire crumble before her eyes, a quiet triumph of genuine authority and unwavering resolve over arrogant pretense and rampant criminality. What's your take on this? When someone so brazenly abuses power, engages in vandalism, and attempts to commit grand theft under the guise of community standards, does their complete and utter downfall truly serve justice? Or is there a point where the consequences become too extreme?